I bought 11 books this past month. I don't even remember that happening. This is actually ridiculous, but somehow I did it. My bank account is severely paying for it. I thought I would show you guys everything I bought because I bought some phenomenal books. Let's just jump right in and talk about the 11 books I bought in April. I'm gonna start with the ones that I read already. Happy Place by Emily Henry. I obviously had to get myself a copy of this. If you're unfamiliar with Emily Henry, she writes like contemporary adult romances, and she is just so talented. It feels like she has cracked your brain open and she has written all of your inner thoughts, your subconscious thoughts into like the perfect bite-sized little pieces, and it's just so easy to read. So this is about Harriet and Wynne. They broke up 5 months ago and they are a part of the same friend group, and they have yet to tell their friends that they broke up. They just know it's going to be a big deal. It's going to mess up their friendship. It's just going to be heavy for them, and they already have enough they're dealing with, so they have not told their friends. Meanwhile, they go on the same vacation every year to one of their friend Sabrina's cottage houses in Maine, and just like every year, they are going this year, and Harriet is under the impression that it is just the girls going, and lo and behold, Wynne is there. And keep in mind, they have been broken up for 5 months, but nobody knows that, so they have to pretend that they are still dating, and it goes back and forth between like now and like past summers spent in this house when they were actually together, and it's really beautiful and gorgeous. And if you're into that kind of book, pick this up. The next one that I read was Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, and I wanted to love this so much, but I didn't. I didn't like it. It started off really strong. I loved the cozy vibes of it. It's like a coming of age kind of romance. It's about this girl named Macy who has lost her mom, and it's just her and her dad, and they have this vacation home, and it's about a romance that forms between her and her neighbor. They both love to read. It's adorable. It has so much potential. I did not like where Christina Lauren took it. Like, I don't like, there's a big reveal that like happens at the end, and you're waiting for it kind of the whole book to figure out like what happened, because it takes place over the course of 10 years. So 10 years later, Macy is with somebody else. She's engaged, living with him, and she runs into Elliot, the neighbor. And you can just feel there's intense connection between the two of them, but something happened that you don't know about, like 10 years ago or something like that, and you're kind of waiting the whole book to find out what happened between them to make them lose contact. And I did not like where they took it. Like, I just did not like it. I read this while I was on vacation, and it started off so great. Like, I was reading by the pool and I was loving it, I was devouring it, and then I didn't. And the last one I read is Then I Prayed by Ronald Moffey. So this was actually bought for me, but let me explain. So me and my best friend do this thing, well, we started it last month, where we each buy each other another, like we each buy a book for the other one to read that month, and this was the one that she bought me. So I bought her one in place of this. So technically I bought this, but I didn't really. So if you liked the show The Last of Us or the video game, you will really like this. I just wanted there to be a little bit more higher stakes, a little bit more action, but it was really interesting. This is about the relationship between a dad and his daughter on the run during a pandemic. The daughter has this special ability that the government wants to have access to that they think can help end the pandemic, but for reasons you will find out, the dad is very against that, and he does not want his daughter to be a part of that. So they're on the run across the country together. They meet some cults, they meet some very interesting people. It's really interesting. I just kind of wish there was like a little bit more, and the ending made me cry. It was pretty sad, but I ended up giving this 3.75. It was a fun read, just I wanted a little bit more. But if you're into like sci-fi, a little bit of like suspense, you'll like it. We have none other than the iconic House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I'm so scared. I read ACOTAR, but I still have 2 books left in the series, and I don't know why I haven't gone back to it, but I haven't. So I'm thinking maybe I'll jump into this series and see how I feel about it. This is okay, this is so funny, but I keep hearing on TikTok that this is Zootopia fanfic. And I love Zootopia, so sign me up. It's got maps. It's just a very serious, not serious, but a very heavy fantasy series. A lot of world building. I'm gonna read you the description because I'm not really familiar with what it's about too well. Half fae, half human, Bryce Quinlan loves her life. Every night is a party, and Bryce is going to save her all the pleasures Lunathian, also known as Crescent City, has to offer. But then a brutal murder shakes the very foundations of the city, and Bryce's world comes crashing down. 2 years later, Bryce still haunts the city's most notorious nightclubs, seeking only oblivion now, trying to put the past behind her. When the murderer attacks again, and an infamous fallen angel, Hunt Ethelard, is assigned to watch her every footstep, Bryce knows she can't forget any longer. As Bryce and Hunt fight to unravel the mystery, the threads they tug ripple through the underbelly of the city, across warring continents, and down to the deepest levels of hell, where things that have been sleeping for millennia are beginning to stir. So that is Crescent City. Okay, the next one we have is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. This is so gorgeous of a cover. I think it's stunning, and that's part of the reason why I got it. This is about a woman who has lost her mom recently, and she was supposed to go on an Italian vacation, her and her mom. She decides, I'm still gonna go, I'm gonna enjoy my trip. She gets there and she meets the 30-year-old version of her mom. That is just that gives me chills when I think about that. It is just such a cool idea, and it's about her and her mother becoming friends, but it's her mother at 30 and she's 30, I believe. Oh my god, it just sounds like it's gonna make me cry. It's gonna be gorgeous, set in Italy. I just feel there's gonna be so many beautiful lines in this book. I can't wait. If you've read this, let me know your thoughts. Next we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is another cover that kind of spoke to me. Not to be like that, but I liked the cover better than I liked the idea of the book. Little ASMR. So I've heard a lot of great things about this. This is a YA romance, I believe. I'm gonna read you the back because I am not quite sure what it's about. Liz Bobaum has always known that Wes Bennett was not boyfriend material. You would think that her next door neighbor would be a prime candidate for her romantic comedy fantasies, but Wes has only proven himself to be a pain in the butt ever since they were little. Wes was the kid who put a frog in her Barbie dream house, the monster who had a lawn gnome severed head in her little homemade neighborhood book exchange. Flash forward 10 years from the great gnome decapitation. That's cute. It's Liz's senior year, a time meant to be rife with milestones perfect for any big screen, and she needs Wes's help. See, Liz's forever crush Michael has just moved back to town, and horribly annoyingly, he's hitting it off with Wes, meaning that if Liz wants Michael to finally notice her and hopefully be her prom date, she needs Wes. He's her in. But as Liz and Wes scheme to get Liz her magical prom moment, she's shocked to discover that she actually likes being around Wes. And as they continue to grow closer, she must re-examine everything she thought she knew about love and rethink her own perception of what happily ever after should really look like. That sounds like a really cute young adult romance. I definitely want to read this closer to the summer. I feel like this would be the perfect laying by the pool book. So I've heard literally nothing but amazing things about this, so I'm super excited. All right, let's go with Seating Arrangements by Maggie Shipstead. This is the only book out of the entire collection, except for The Night Parade, that I did not hear of prior to purchasing it. First off, can you look at this cover? Gorgeous. And I like that it's tiny. Well, not really, but it's really not tiny. But it's a thin book, it's a quick read. I think it looks so good. Let me read you the back. The Van Meters have gathered at their family retreat on the island of Waikiki to celebrate the marriage of daughter Daphne to the impeccably appropriate Grayson Duff. This feels like a modern day Bridgerton, just already, and I love that. The weekend is full of champagne, salt air, and practiced bonhomie. I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't know what that is. But long buried discontent and simmering lust stir beneath the surface. Win Van Meter, father of the bride, is preoccupied by his mysterious exclusion from an island golf club and tormented by an inappropriate crush on a beguiling bridesmaid. Sister of the bride, Livia, recently heartbroken by the son of her father's greatest rival, is a too-ready target for the wiles of the best man. When old resentments, a beached whale, and an escaped lobster are added to the mix, the wedding that should have gone off with military precision threatens to become a spectacle of misbehavior. I feel like this is such a funny novel, like about family and like class. Like, it seems like they're just like such like a rich, stuck-up group of people, and I feel like it's gonna be so funny to read about that. It feels almost like the family from White Lotus, if you watched that. I'm so excited for this, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm planning on reading this in May, so this should be in my May wrap-up. Next, we have long-awaited The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is like a phenomenal fantasy. Like, this is like when you look up fantasy novels, this pops up. Like, this is the star of the show. Let me read it to you. When war orphan Rin aced the Kiju, the empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to learn at the academies, she surprised everyone. Test officials, the guardians who wanted to marry her off and further their criminal enterprise, and even herself. But being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not easy at Sinagard, the most elite military school in Yukon. Targeted by rival classmates for her color, poverty, and gender, Rin discovers that God's long-thought dead are very much alive, and that she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism that could be the weapon the Empire desperately needs. While Nikara is at peace, its enemy and former occupiers, the Federation of Mugen, bides its time, and a third Poppy War is just a spark away. Rin's shamanic powers may be the only way to save her people, yet as she discovers more about the god that has chosen her, the vengeful phoenix, she fears that winning the war may cost her humanity. And it may already be too late. I'm sorry if I pronounced any of those words wrong. It feels like the kind of fantasy that is like super inspired by history, but it's gonna be so well fleshed out. Like the plot, the characters, the world building, the hierarchy of power. I just feel like it's gonna be so good. Like this, if you're looking for like a heavy fantasy that's like giving all the elements of fantasy, I feel like this is the book. Let's go with this one. This is the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. So just as I explained with this one, I did a book swap. This was also a book swap with someone. This looks so cute and the cover's adorable. Let me read you the back. Cecilia Bassingthwaite is the ideal Victorian lady. She's also a thief. Like the other members of the Wisteria Society crime sorority, she flies around England drinking tea, blackmailing friends, and acquiring treasure by interesting means. Sure, she has dark and traumatic past and an overbearing aunt, but all things considered, it's a pleasant existence until the men show up. I love that. Ned Lightbourne is a sometimes assassin who is smitten with Cecilia from the moment they meet. Unfortunately, that happens to be while he's under direct orders to kill her. His employer, Captain Morvath, who possesses a Gothic abbey bristling with cannons and an unbridled hate for the world, intends to rid England of all its presumptuous women, starting with the Wisteria Society. Ned has plans of his own, but both men have made one grave mistake: never underestimate a woman. When Morvath imperils the Wisteria Society, Cecilia is forced to team up with her handsome would-be assassin to save the women who raised her, hopefully proving once and for all that she's as much of a scoundrel as the rest of them. This seems like such like a fun, lighthearted, and like clever novel that is actually like so important. Like, I feel like I'm gonna read this and be like I'm gonna like love Cecilia. And I mean, Ned seems alright, but like this is about Cecilia and I'm so excited. This, if you're looking for like historical fiction, kind of like a historical fiction, like a period piece that's like funny, goofy, and like actually like important, here she is. Next we have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig. I will be honest with you, the reason I bought this, two reasons. One, I love fantasy and I can tell by the cover this is a fantasy, and two, $7 at Barnes & Noble. Are we serious? That's a steal in this economy. A steal. Let me read you the back. In a manner, oh, this is also, I believe, a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses. Adorable. That's adorable. In a manor by the sea, 12 sisters are cursed. Anna Lee lives a sheltered life at High Moor with her sisters. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short, each death more tragic than the last. Disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, Anna Lee becomes increasingly suspicious that her sisters' deaths were no accidents. The girls have been sneaking out every night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers, and Anna Lee isn't sure whether to try to stop them or to join their forbidden trysts, because who or what are they really dancing with? When Annalee's involvement with a mysterious stranger who has secrets of his own intensifies, it's a race to unravel the darkness that has fallen over her family before it claims her next. This feels like a very light fantasy, like an intro to fantasy kind of book, something that you're not gonna have to take notes and remember every world building detail, but something that's gonna be fun. Fantasy elements, you get the drill. House of Salt and Sorrow. Finally, I'm so excited for this one. We have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This has been a long-awaited read, and I am so excited for this one. Let me read you the description. A legendary competition, a mesmerizing romance, an unbreakable bond between 2 sisters. Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now, Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long-dreamt-of invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show. Only as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer, Legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlet has been told that everything that happens during Caraval is only an elaborate performance, but she nevertheless becomes enmeshed in a game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Caraval is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. It sounds so good. It kind of reminds me just the idea of a fantasy-esque show. Kind of reminds me of The Night Circus, which I still have not read, but kind of gives me that vibes. There's a whole series of these books. The back of it's super cute. There's this is the invitation to the Caraval. It says, admit 1 to be used once to gain entrance into Caraval. Main gates close at midnight. Anyone who arrives later than this will not be able to participate or win this year's prize of 1 wish. I think it sounds so cute, and I'm so excited for this whole entire series. There's a whole series of books with this, so that should be phenomenal. If you've read these, let me know your thoughts. I've been seeing it go around on TikTok recently, which is kind of random because I feel like this has been out for a while, but it's cool because it's we're all on the same page, we're all reading the same things. So that is it. That is all 11 books I have purchased this past month. I hope you found maybe 1 or a few that interest you. If you did, let me know which ones you're going to read. Maybe we can read them together. I love buddy reading, so don't feel weird to reach out because I will absolutely read it with you guys. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you very soon for an April wrap-up. Love you.